All right, today I want to talk about goals and the price of achieving goals. And the reason why I think this is an important topic is because if we have these aspirations and this goal, if we actually can't get there or there's no chance of us getting there, then it's really not a goal. It may be a dream or a fantasy. And my intention as a coach is to help you attain the goals. And in this case, we are likely talking about either weight loss goals or health goals. So, first, I may just preface this by suggesting that there may be some things in this conversation today that would warrant a deeper dive when you have some time and space and energy and capacity. So having a notepad or a journal and jotting down some questions, I'll see about creating a PDF, like a guide that you can refer to ask yourself these questions and attach them in the replay area. But for the beginning, when we think about a goal, you can come up with any goal in your mind that comes to the forefront, whether it's your weight loss or your health or your career or financial goal or relationship goal, anything that comes to mind, ask yourself about, is it actually attainable? I find what happens sometimes when we create these lofty goals, we think, of some future version of ourselves where this may actually be applicable and we have the capacity, the time, the energy, the resources, the money, um, and the motivation to actually work towards attaining the goal. So, as an example, if I wanted to write a book and within a month, let's just say, I may know that what that's going to require is, I don't know, maybe 20 hours of work a week for me to do to actually attain that goal. But if I look at my current calendar and I realize that I do not have 20 hours a week without my other commitments, responsibilities, work, job, whatever it is, and my calendar only allows me to have 2 hours to work on this goal, I've already set myself up and my brain for disappointment. I've already kind of looped, like hide myself to that this is not achievable. So I want you to consider that your goal is actually attainable to start with. And yeah, it's okay that it scares you or that you don't know that it's possible, but to really, rather than fantasizing about some future version of yourself, that you're making it an achievable and realistic goal, but yet it can still scare the hell out of you. So I find that there are three types of goals that we can set. One is within our comfort zone. So that's kind of a goal that doesn't push us very far. Um, it may not even be much different than what we're doing now. So if you think about, I don't know, if we're looking at this in terms of income, if you're just trying to incrementally increase your income, um, then it's not like, if it's not a sustainable jump, it's like within your comfort zone. It's not going to push you. It's not going to change you or prompt you to grow or challenge you to get out of that existing comfort zone. However, if you were to set a goal to 10x your income, that is going to extend your comfort zone tremendously. And that takes me to the next type of goal where it's kind of like this chaos kind of goal. And that is, in the beginning of the new year where people set all these lofty goals, they're going to change 5,000 things starting on January 1. They're going to change what they do in terms of workout regime, how they eat. They're going to start pickleball. They're going to start a bridge club. Like they're going to run a marathon. They're going to start writing a book, all these things at once. And that just scares our nervous system and our brain to not even try because it is overwhelming. So the difference between, like, there's a huge gap. And if we look at this at a spectrum of our comfort zone to chaos, which it's like totally overwhelming, there is a place in the middle. And that's what I call the Goldilocks zone, is something that pushes you outside of the zone, but that is not too much to actually limit our own capacity and belief that we can actually do the thing. So I'm suggesting that you pick a Goldilocks goal, that it's attainable, but still stretches you. So what I do know about goals is when we embark on doing something new, something different, it's hard, it's scary. Our brain wants to keep us, conserve energy. keep us safe and comfortable so that we're not subjected to risk or danger or fear. So conserve energy, stay comfortable, and expend the least amount of energy possible. When we are doing something new in the beginning, if you're going to the gym for the very first time, it can be totally intimidating with all the things that crop up. You don't know the equipment, you don't know the owners, you don't know the lay of the land, you don't even know where to park, you don't even know where the entrance to the building is. How do you get in there? Where do you store your clothes? Or where do you put your shoes? Like all of these things can be going through our mind. And this scary type of beginning stages is normal and part of the process because it's unfamiliar, it's unknown. And then the second part is the more that we do the thing, the easier it gets. You know, the 10th time that you get your butt to the gym, you're not worried about where to park. You know how the lay of the land, you know, maybe the people that are there greeting you, you know how the equipment works. And it just becomes easier. So those obstacles that we overcome in the beginning don't stick around because we've already overcame them. What does get us quicker to our goals is the amount of repetitions that we do the uncomfortable things or do the new things. So the quickest way that and most efficient way that we can actually achieve our goals is increase the gap between the repetition. So do more reps more often, and that's going to get us quicker to success. So I just want to reiterate the foundation of goal setting, that when we embark on something new, it is difficult in the beginning, and that's normal. It's part of the process, but it does become easier. I wholeheartedly believe, if you followed any of my posts lately on social media, that the first step is actually the hardest step. When you go from 0 to 1 to just making that decision to actually starting, that is the biggest and hardest step. And then from step 1 to 2, or zero to 1, and then 1 to 2 becomes easier, and then 2 to 3 gets even easier. So we can build up momentum in our approach, in our goals, the more action that we take. And I truly believe that the hardest part, as I mentioned, is doing and committing to making your goal a reality. My post, and this is a little sidebar, my post the other day, what I was talking about was, I was talking about, you know, we often don't think that one small step is enough. We want large results, so we think these large, massive transformations, these big kind of actions have to take place to get the big results. And really, the thing that gets us the most furthest along is consistency, taking the small steps that may not seem significant, may not seem like even anyone is noticing, that you may not see any immediate benefit from, but that is really where the magic happens. And I talk about this so much in this group, is about when we are in the thick of it and the beginning stages of the goal and the excitement wears off of, you know, how fun it's going to be to get this result. But then when you're actually doing the thing, how challenging it can become. And the real magic, I believe, comes from two things: patience and consistency, doing the same dull, boring, non-sexy things day in and day out, even though you don't see any incremental or don't see any results. They may be incremental or so minute that you're not thinking you're getting anywhere, but that really is the magic sauce to get us to the summit of the mountain. So what I really wanted to address here today is this notion of analyzing the goal that we pick. So this is kind of the heart of it. The goal that we are focusing on, excuse me, I would wholeheartedly suggest that as soon as you start with any goal, it doesn't have to be in this realm, you know, with your health or your weight loss goals. It could be in any capacity that you're setting a goal, but this is actually what we're talking about in a health and wellness kind of community. I would encourage you to do like a little bit, and I don't want you to freak out, but it's a little bit of an analysis. And I look at it as a cost benefit analysis of a goal. So it sounds like very techy and very financial, but really it is, when we have a goal, there's a trade-off. There is a price that we have to pay for that goal. Yeah, one, it may be financial, effort, time, commitment, getting out of our comfort zone. There is definitely a cost that comes along with, if you are embarking on a wellness journey, what is the cost? So I would invite you to consider what the cost is for you to to do and attempt the goal. Like, to do it, what's it going to cost you? So yeah, in the beginning, it might be some financial investment in terms of following the protocol, buying some new foods. But it also may cost you discomfort in missing out on some of the things that you're used to. Maybe it'll cost you missing some social engagements. It could cost you more effort in terms of meal prepping, time in terms of maybe grocery shopping, preparing your own food, missing out on these social events, or not doing the things with your friends, your family that you once did, potentially, or missing out on not eating or drinking the same way that you're used to or that other people are doing. So with every goal, there is a price, there is a cost. And this is what I'm encouraging you to take a look at right from the beginning. There is also a cost if you don't do it, if you don't pursue your actual goal. Now, if we're looking in the stage of health and wellness and weight loss, what would it cost if you didn't go for your goal? What would it cost you if you stay exactly where you are doing the same thing? It may be costing you comfort. It may be costing you your health. There are a plethora of different costs that are associated with this. And so what are the costs if you don't actually attempt the goal? There are probably, you'll come up with your own explanations and reasons, but you may feel comfortable staying where you are, but you can also have a sense of dissatisfaction, of kind of giving up on yourself. There could be health issues potentially if by you not making any changes. There are a plethora of reasons, and I'll leave that for you. I don't want to plant the seeds, but I also want to invite you to expand your mind and really open up this question and ask yourself, what is the cost if I don't embark on this goal? Because there is cost both ways. Um, I find that with anything in life, like when I'm saying yes to one thing, I'm saying no to another. Like if I'm saying yes to staying in bed in the morning, I'm saying no to not getting to the gym. So there's always a trade-off. And this is really what I want to talk to you today about, is the price that we pay for the goal, and to understand the cost versus the benefit from the beginning. Because when we set the goal in the beginning, it seems like all unicorns and rainbows, and we envision this beautiful destination of, what it's going to be like when we actually reach our goal. But we don't often consider what is the middle part, the hard part. What do we have to trade off and say no to? What are the costs? So when the bill comes up to pay for reaching the goal, that we're not surprised. One of the things that I like to do is how I like to think about it is, my analogy is when I consider, going on a hike. I like to hike. I head out west, hike mountains, and when I embark on this journey, it's exciting, it's invigorating that I'm going to be going up to the summit, see the peak, see the view, see what's up there. The whole journey, it's very exciting. So the beginning stage is alluring. It's anticipatory, like there's excitement. And then, you know, when the sun gets covered and you're in the mountains and into the deep forest, it's colder, the temperature drops, the more elevation that you get, it's rocky, the terrain is weird, it's hard, my lungs can't really handle the altitude, I'm getting less oxygen. The journey just becomes a bit of a grind, and my mind at least, goes to, you know, what were you thinking? Like, how is this fun? Like, this is not fun. Um, like there's this inner duality, or this little chatter that happens, and that's our brain, our limbic brain, our reptilian brain, the most primitive part of our brain, trying to keep us safe and comfortable and in the known and not expend any energy. So I'm I'm constantly in life having conversations with this part of my brain and easing it into why this was a good idea. And this is no different when when we go to set out on any goal. When we're in the middle part actually kind of sucks. It can be really challenging and hard, and it feels like maybe we're not getting anywhere. Like we're where I was talking about earlier, that these small steps aren't actually making a difference. Because when you're climbing a really steep mountain for hours, it doesn't feel like you're getting anywhere because you don't see the results, not right away anyway. The thing that keeps us going is what I was talking about earlier, the patience, the consistency, that one small continuous step, time and time and time again, just repetition over and over and over again. And also maybe convincing the mind and easing the mind along, or at least the primitive part of our brain along with us as we embark on this journey. So I also like to think about the benefit, the benefit of what we're actually going to get in achieving the goal, because this is really, I think, where the beauty happens when we analyze the cost versus the benefit. So what is it going to take? What is it going to cost? What am I going to have to give up? What is the price I anticipate happening for me to get to the goal? And the other part is, what price am I paying by not actually going after the goal? Because there are two motivating kind of factors here. And the benefit is what you're actually going to get by reaching the goal. And if I think about this in terms of my hiking a mountain, the benefit is one of accomplishment, of doing the damn thing, doing something challenging and hard and actually getting there, to see the views, to enjoy nature, to have the solitude, to present myself with a challenge and know that I can overcome it. These small little victories, these little kind of milestones create momentum. They create self-confidence, self-belief, and that pushes me then to do harder and bigger and different things. So I would encourage you, when you're thinking about your goal, and if it is weight loss that we're talking about, or your health goal right now, is to consider, what is the benefit? What is the benefit you're going to derive by not actually attaining the goal, but just in effort of trying to get to the goal? Because even if we don't get there, even if we don't reach our goal, we are still making progress in some way. We are learning, we are growing, we are challenging ourselves, we're pushing ourselves outside of the comfort zone. So where there are things that we are going to derive direct benefit from in just the mere attempt, not even in the accomplishment. So when I think about myself with the hiking analogy, what's the benefit of me just even trying? Yeah, I'm proving to myself that I can do hard things. I'm building my muscles. I'm building my lung capacity. There are so many things that we can attain from pushing ourselves and growing and becoming the next evolved version of ourselves, our future selves, our more, um, I don't know, enhanced version of ourselves in any capacity when we reach a goal. And I don't know that it's worth talking about this right now, but there are times when you're going to pull the plug on a goal. There are times when you make a goal and you realize at some point that it's just not worth it. It may not be worth the trade-off in terms of the prices that you're willing to pay. And I suppose that's some other question to ask yourself is, what is it that you're not willing to pay to reach this goal? For me, if something was compromising my values, um, risking my health, um, risking some fun in my life, if I had to, um, I don't know, do a lot of traveling and extroverted types of activities to attain a huge goal, I'd probably do that actually, because I'm okay with that. But if something challenged my values, or if I had to put someone else in harm's way, or there's all kinds of things that I wouldn't do and trade off for the price of attaining a goal. And I think that's very personal for us to ask ourselves, is what are we not attaining? What are we willing not to pay? Sorry, I'm saying that wrong. What will I not do in order to achieve that goal? I think that's really good practice too, to get into, to understand that sometimes goals, when we set them, we're a different person. If we set a goal 5 years ago and we're still chasing that same goal, we may realize the closer that we get that, what, I actually don't want this thing, or it's not worth the effort, or it's not worth the price that I'm willing to pay, or it may not be that important. So before you pull the plug on any goal, and give up. And the price that we pay is not just frustration and effort. That's just part of the process. And that's not a reason to pull the plug on the goal. I would really invite you to do this kind of analysis with yourself and look at what we talked about earlier, the cost versus the benefit, for achieving the goal, because there is a price to pay for absolutely everything. So I feel like it's like in the financial world. You may know I was a financial advisor many years ago for a good part of my life. So this analogy rings true for me. Like if you wanted to get returns from the market, from the Dow Jones or TSE, there is a risk in investing your money into the markets that are fluctuating all the time. But in order to gain the returns, the 10%, 12%, whatever it is the market is returning, you actually have to have some skin in the game. You have to take the risk and invest. So if you are not willing to take the risk to put any money in the market, of course, you're not going to get the returns. So this is really the cost benefit analysis of attaining a goal. And I think it's highly worth assessing when we embark on a new journey, on a new path, and to reach a goal. So I'm going to ask you to take a moment and just really set yourself up so that you know when the bill arrives at your door for accomplishing this goal, that you're not surprised, that you know what to expect. There may be some twists and turns along the way that you weren't anticipating, but I think for the most part, we can set out on these destinations, on these journeys, knowing or anticipating what the cost may be. So that's really what I wanted to leave you with today, so that you are not surprised along the way when things get hard, because doing new things definitely does become, or in the beginning, is challenging and does get easier. I'll leave that with you, and I'll see about creating something here for your to create a journal prompt so that you can reflect on this and ask yourself these questions in a format where you're more relaxed and you can give yourself some space and time to reflect on these very big questions. So with that, I'll say see you later, and I hope you get some benefit from this cost benefit analysis of goal attainment. Okay, bye for now.